Yesterday on stream we finished Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void, and with that the entire Starcraft 2 journey, which was actually quite a journey. It was a very lovely journey indeed. Great game, 10-10 game, 11-10 game. But I've noticed something, because basically the Legacy of the Void is sort of Artanis' story. I mean, all of Starcraft 2 is basically Kerrigan's story, right? But Legacy of the Void was a lot about Artanis, how he reunites the Protoss after they have been split up and after they give up their connection to the Kala, right? And there was some interesting interactions between Vorazun, the lady from the Dark Templars, and him, where she said she always feared losing her culture when she merges with the High Templars, right? And that had me thinking, because this is basically what people in real life also fear. So Legacy of the Void, I mean, it's actually crazy, because these old games, right, like Starcraft, and we're now going to go into Warcraft 3, I'm very curious about what we learned there. But they always have very mature topics, right? And they go very deep, especially Starcraft 2 also went very deep on the topic there, because people are afraid, especially these days, but they've always been, actually not especially these days, they've always been afraid of merging with other cultures because they fear losing their own culture. And I get it, it makes total sense. I've been there for the longest time, right? The problem though is, if you think about it, if you merge, and I don't mean like melting pot kind of bullshit, right? Where all cultures are in one area and they just take everything and it's one weird thing that humans become there. No, I was thinking of, if we think that we eventually will become multiplanetary, what Elon Musk, for example, is working on, right? That we go to Mars and then we have Earth and Mars sort of as a human planet. Wouldn't it make more sense if we became the Terrans as humans, right? Or Earthlings, or whatever we want to call ourselves. The people of Earth, whatever. But basically, one culture, instead of 180 countries, we become one country, a planetary country on Earth, and then I guess there's another one on Mars if you want, which eventually will then also become one galaxy, or one galactic empire, so to speak. By the way, no shameless plug, but I really like that mug, because look what it says. I bet this problem will go away if we have more fucking meetings. Anyone working in a corporation knows what this mug is about. Anyway, back to topic. So, because people are afraid of globalism, and I get it totally, because globalism has been misused for control. Right? It's the old idea also of you will own nothing and you will be happy. Because I was thinking about this recently. I owned a house, right? Still do, it's currently being sold. Because I did the whole family shtick for 12 years, right? Before she cheated. But I owned the house and now I'm renting an apartment again, right? And I owned a car, which cost me a lot of money, especially in current situation. And now I'm leasing it. So I'm not saying that you should only rent things or lease things. What I'm saying is it should be your choice. And this is kind of the difference between Klaus Schwab, right, the guy from the WEF, who's trying to force us into submitting to that. But the problem is, it's actually a great feeling to not own things, because I don't have to care about much about this thing. And everything breaks in here, I just call my landlord, right? I only have to sort of keep it clean and keep it going. That's it. With the house, I had constant worry about anything breaking, lots of payments because it was very expensive, all these kind of things, right? And if you want to buy an old car, for example, it's usually better. I mean, you can only buy them, you can't really lease them. But I have an electric car, so buying that was stupid. I lost 15 grand on my old electric car because I bought it and then it was worthless 3 years later. Now I have one leased, so I don't care about depreciation. I just give it back after 2 years. So in this case it makes sense, and this actually, I am happy now for not owning things. And this is what I want to get with this is, at the core level these things are correct, but they are being misused. The same thing with globalism. Globalism is actually good, because that would, if you think about it, if we all become one global culture that has the best of all cultures, and for example also one language, think about it. Think about the language barrier completely gone. Everyone on Earth speaks one language, and we all have... Because everything will be easier for people to learn, to understand then, obviously, right? And of course we lose a lot for this as well. There's a lot of sacrifice if you do this. This is what Warazun meant when she said you will lose a lot about your culture. Imagine losing, let's say for example, English becomes the global Earthling Terran language, as it pretty much is already, right? But then we lose Spanish, we lose Japanese, Chinese, any sort of fancy African languages I can't even speak out. French, people like French, I don't like it, but apparently it's a beautiful language. We would lose all this, obviously, right? But not in a sort of destructive way, it's just honoring the past way and now moving forward. It's evolution, right? And evolution is always painful. You always lose something, but you evolve into a better thing than you were before. And if humans had only one language, then a lot of things would be better. It would be a shared thought field, so to speak, right? Because language is also frequency. And the same is true also with that globalism. The idea is correct, but it was hijacked by corporations, companies, and centralized governments for control. But if you think about it, that if we took, for example, all the best of all the cultures, let's say we have the American freedom, a spirit of freedom, and the drive for entrepreneurism. That's a tough word for me as a German. Then we have the Japanese attention to detail, for example. We have Italian understanding of style, or French also. French and Italian understanding of style. Italian food, for example. And also others mixed in, but it's all fine. And, I don't know, African storytelling, or what's it called, partying, like the dances, for example, whatever. Just take all the best things and bring it together into one global culture. That would actually be awesome. Now, of course, this is sort of an utopian idea, right? Because many times over, this doesn't exactly work like that. Usually what happened in the past is that the dominant culture overtook and sort of destroyed the old culture. Remember, we even did this in the past with animals, right? People were like, okay, this is the last animal of this species, right? The last one, before it went extinct. What did they do? They shot it and put it on their porch or whatever, or above their bed, thinking, I killed the last one of that. That's how humans interacted in the past. But I think we could come to a point where we understand that loss of form doesn't mean loss of essence. Right? If we let go of bad things in our culture. For example, there's cultures that still do honor killings, for example. There is no point in keeping that around, right? Or religious dogma, and all religions have this, by the way. I'm not pointing at one specifically. But, and by the way, if you look at the world religions, on a base level, they actually all want the same thing. All of them. Literally all of them. I looked at all of them, okay, so don't judge me. I actually looked at all. I was Christian very much. I have been down that path. I looked into the Quran and Islam. But I think that was called the Sufi. I don't remember the name of them, but they were the initial scholars of Islam, much like the Gnostics in Christianity. They had the right idea actually about what that religion is, which also applies exactly with what Jesus said. So if you actually dive deeper into this, you will learn pretty quickly that they all want the same. All these religions want the same, which is just unity of the people, peace, and forgiveness, pretty much. That's what they all teach, all of them. And then how to access higher spiritual wisdom. So if you let go of dogma and misguided beliefs and all of this, then you come out with a better being after that. A better religion, a better culture. So I think, imagine a culture, or a future rather, where cultural wisdom from all these specific cultures right now is shared properly across the globe. Imagine what we could already be. Now I know this, as I said, is all utopian and most likely won't go down that easily or that path. But I was thinking that Starcraft 2 actually pointed a lot at that. With the Protoss specifically. They merged all the cultures, even the Tal'Darim, right, which are very, let's put it, traditional in their rites and what they did, right? They had their honor killings and the whole Rakshir idea of the stronger one kills the weaker one, then he automatically becomes the leader of them and all this kind of shit. But they still managed to bring them all together and become stronger in the end to fight a common enemy. Now we don't have a common enemy in this sense, but wouldn't that be awesome if we could go down that path? And I'm already living that, and I think personally, if you read any about Dolores Cannon and her interaction in hypnosis with the higher beings, you will quickly realize that this is inevitable. We will go there anyway, right? It's just a matter of what do we take with us and how do we get there in a good way or more in a fighting way. But I would enjoy a unified Terran Earth, so to speak, culture. And I'm already going there, as I said, because I'm from Germany, right? But I do everything in English. Like I stream in English. Everything, my whole PC, even my phone is set up in English. I think in English at this point already because I do everything in English. And do this intentionally. Because English is already, I think, the global language. So I'm just trying to put this out even more. And literally doing everything like that. And I think this is a good thing. Because eventually we will go there anyway with our planetary tongue, if you want to put it that. And just tell me what you think of that. Do you think this is even feasible? Will we ever get there? I think we do, but maybe you have different thoughts on that. I think it's just a question of how smooth we get there, personally. Or do you have concerns about this? Do you think it's good that different cultures exist? They shouldn't become one, even if they take the best things of each culture. Let me know what you think of it. Just, again, a hot take, hot tea, as always, with Alex. Been a while since I did one of these videos, but after Starcraft 2 I had something to say. So I think it is possible for humans, if we ascend higher in our consciousness, to get there. Let me know what you think of it. And now it's time for Warcraft 3. We'll see what this has to offer on these deep lessons. The glory days of Blizzard, when they really went deep with their games. Sadly, that's pretty much over. But anyway, that was it. Just a short, not a rant, just short thoughts, open thoughts. And yeah, I'll see you around. Bye bye.